Welcome. In this screencast, we're going to learn how to create and work with an alternative profile. We'll ask ourselves, what would happen if we had poor returns in our retirement accounts in the first year of our model? We'll create a few alternative profiles to compare with our base profile. So let's begin. Let's review our base profile settings and assumptions. We won't change our assumptions about return on regular assets and look only at the retirement assets. Note that we are assuming a 4% nominal return for each spouse's account, but we're not going to change those returns here in the base profile. We'll first create an alternative. To do that, click on the word Profile at the top of the screen. We'll add a new alternative profile. Now note at the top of the screen, by the word Dashboard, we see minus 5% year profile. We also see it in the blue strap at the top. Now we can go to Settings and Assumptions, scroll to our return assumptions, and in this case, we want to set Jack's retirement accounts to minus 5%. But we want the return to go back to normal in 2021. So here, we'll put 4% in 2021. We'll do the same thing for Jill, a minus 5% in the current year, but the return will change in 2021 back to 4%. Now we go to our profile dashboard. We see that we're still in our minus 5% year profile, and we're going to run a comparison report, and we're going to compare it to our base profile. What we see here is that the alternative profile has $3,752 less each year of annual spending through to the end of the model. That's the impact of the minus 5% return on the retirement assets. Okay, let's look at one more example. Jack has a phased retirement agreement with his employer whereby he's working 5 more years. We can see that when we look at the current future earnings. This employer is also contributing to his retirement account during this time, which we can see here. But Jack would like to run an alternative profile where this year becomes his last, and he wants to see the impact that would have on his annual discretionary spending. So we begin by clicking on the word Profile and adding a new alternative profile. We'll call this Work Less. We'll add the profile. So to begin, we come into Jack's current and future earnings area, and we see them here just as they appear in the base profile, but we want to modify them. So we click the word Modify. We find the little pencil icon over here to the right, click on that, and change the 5 years to just 1 more year, and save. But don't forget that Jack's employer is contributing to his retirement account, so we need to adjust those as well. We come into the retirement account area, modify, and just like we did for his salary, change the number of years that this continues from 5 to 1, and save. When we look at the alternative profile page, we can see these small flags that indicate that we have modified settings within these areas. So for example, if we click on current and future earnings, we see our modified part-time job. Note that if we wanted to restore this back to the original, back to the base, we simply click Restore Data from Base. Now we're ready to run an alternative report. So we click on the Profile dashboard. We are already in the Work Less profile, so we want to compare that to the base profile, and we run the report here. Note that you don't always have to compare your alternative to the base profile. You can compare 2 alternative profiles to each other. But for this case, Let's compare our alternative to the base profile. What we discover is that Jack has $1,769 less in annual discretionary spending each year from the current year on through the end of his life by quitting after this first year instead of working 5 years. We can actually see that modeled by looking at Jack's non-asset income in the base plan. Go to the work less plan, look at his non-asset income. We see just 1 year. Base plan, work less. So this is how Jack can compare working fewer years using an alternative model. Finally, let's take a look at how to delete these alternative plans. To delete an alternative plan, choose the plan that you want to delete. In this case, we'll delete the Roth conversion. Once you're in the Roth conversion alternative model, simply scroll to the bottom, find the Delete Roth Conversion link, click on that, and delete it. That's it. That's how you create an alternative profile, compare them to the base profile, compare them to each other, and finally, delete them when you're done.